penalty area, picked up here by Declan Rice. Oh, he's placed it to perfection.
Arsenal are the champions of England. They have the best defense in the league. And this summer, they spent £75 million on a midfield who does almost exactly the same job as the best player they already had.
Bruno Guimarães is moved to Arsenal. It's a statement signing.
Think about that for a second. That is not a normal transfer. Clubs spend big money to fix a weakness, but Arsenal didn't have a weakness in midfield. They had Declan Rice. So why buy his double? That is the question the story is really about. Let's start with what Arsenal already had, because it matters a lot. Last season, they won the English Premier League. They conceded only 27 goals in 38 games, and nobody in the league was tighter than that. And at the center of it was a man called Declan Rice. Declan Rice had the best season of his career last season. 70 tackles won, 145 duels won, over 2,000 passes completed. This was a player who 3 years after arriving the Emirates for a club record fee had finally answered every question anyone had about him. So here's the strange part about this. In August 2026, with Declan Rice playing like that, Arsenal went out and paid £75 million for Bruno Guimarães, a Newcastle midfielder, 28 years old, the highest fee ever paid for a player at that age in that position. On the surface, this looks like a mistake. Two ball winners, two players built to do the same ugly job in the midfield of the pitch. Arsenal already had one of the best in the world. So why pay for a second? But once you look closer at what these two players actually do, the picture starts to change. Now, come closer, let me show you something. Last season, Declan Rice recorded 33 interceptions, while Bruno Guimarães recorded 16. That is a big gap, right? It tells you Rice reads danger before it happens. He gets there early. He cuts things off before they become a problem. Now, let's flip it around. Bruno Guimarães won 41 tackles last season. Declan Rice won 33. And when it comes to duels, physical battles for the ball, Bruno Guimarães won 6.1 of them per 90 minutes, and that is a better rate than any midfielder Arsenal already had. So here's what that means in plain terms. Declan Rice prevents the fire before it starts, while Bruno Guimarães runs straight into it and comes out with the ball. One wins the game and the other wins the fight. So those are not the same skills, even if they look similar from a distance. One well-known pundit put it simply. He said that athlete for athlete, physically, there might not be a better midfield pairing anywhere in the Premier League than Arsenal. But knowing they could work well together isn't the same as knowing they will. And that is where things get complicated, because Arsenal didn't have a hole in their team and they had a system that already worked. And last season was an evidence of that. So for the whole title winning season, Arsenal played with Declan Rice and a player called Martin Zubimendi sitting in front of the back four, calm, disciplined and collected. It won them the league. So now Mikel Arteta has a strange problem. He has to change something that wasn't broken. Nobody outside that training ground knows exactly how he was going to do it. One option is that Martin Zubimendi drops into the deepest role and Declan Rice and Bruno Guimarães pushes forward together into a midfield three that has never played a single competitive match as a unit. Another option is that, and this is the one that should worry Arsenal's rivals, is that if Declan Rice and Bruno Guimarães simply play together in the biggest game and somebody else makes way instead. So either way, Arsenal now have 6 senior midfielders for 3 starting positions: Declan Rice, Ødegaard, Zubimendi, Merino, Eze and Bruno Guimarães. That is not a weakness Mikel Arteta is trying to fix this summer. That is a problem he built for himself on purpose, because Mikel Arteta didn't try to hide what he was thinking either. After Bruno Guimarães was introduced to the fans at the Emirates, Arteta called him, in his own words, a warrior with tremendous quality. And he said he was going to, in his own words, ignite something different on the team. And if you notice the word Mikel Arteta used, he used the word different, not replace and not compete with. Different is what Mikel Arteta used. So that suggests Arteta isn't trying to clone what he already has in Declan Rice. He's simply trying to give his team a second kind of danger that opponents haven't had to prepare for yet. And here's the part almost nobody is talking about. This signing might not really be about midfield at all. Declan Rice has spoken publicly about what freedom did for his own game. He moved from a pure defensive role into a more box-to-box position, and he has said that change let him rediscover what he calls enjoying football again. Now, imagine that freedom doubled. If Guimarães can do a version of the job Declan Rice used to do alone, then Declan Rice doesn't have to be Arsenal's only physical solution in midfield anymore. And if Declan Rice has more support behind him, Martin Ødegaard doesn't have to drop as deep to help out. So, which means Bukayo Saka gets the ball in space and further up the pitch more often. So, this is the part of the signing that isn't really about the midfield of the park at all. It's about what happens 3 passes later further up the field. But it's worth being honest here too, because this isn't a guaranteed success story. Declan Rice likes to carry the ball forward himself. So does Bruno Guimarães. If Mikel Arteta plays both of them in the same advanced role at the same time, there's a risk they end up fighting the same instinct at the same moment. Both pushing forward, both leaving the space behind them open. That space is exactly what they were both signed to protect. So this isn't a finished tactical masterpiece Arsenal just installed. It is a bet, and it's a bet that 2 of the most physically dominant midfielders in the Premier League can learn in real time. During a title defense, which one of them gives ground and which one of them goes? Now, go back to when Bruno Guimarães was introduced to Arsenal fans at the Emirates. Arsenal lost the match that followed. Nobody in the stadium seems to care, because the reception he got wasn't the reception you give a squad player. It was the reception you give someone you think is about to change things. A lot of Arsenal fans were happy and were cheering for their favorite midfielder, not because they were certain this partnership would work. They were cheering because for the first time in a long time, their club wasn't trying to fix a weakness. It was choosing between 2 genuine strengths. And that, in the end, is what makes this transfer worth paying attention to, because champions don't usually go shopping for players who do a job they already have covered. Arsenal just did exactly that, whether it is Declan Rice and Bruno Guimarães standing side by side in the biggest matches or one covering for the other across a long demanding season. Arsenal have made one thing painfully obvious. They are not just trying to win the league again, they are trying to make sure nobody else in England even gets close.